He had been working nonstop all week, moving from one meeting to another, answering phone calls, and making decisions that never seemed to end. Being a single father to twins was never easy, but he managed it with dedication and patience. The children, a boy and a girl, were lively, energetic, and full of curiosity. They filled his home with laughter and chaos, and he loved every bit of it, even on the days he felt completely drained. The twins were at an age where everything was new and exciting. They asked questions constantly, explored corners of the house, and found joy in simple things. He knew he couldn't keep up with their energy all the time, and that's why the maid, who had been with them for many years, was such an important part of their lives. She wasn't just someone who cleaned or cooked. She had become like family. She understood the twins, guided them, often managed things he didn't even realize needed managing. On that Thursday, he had been trapped in endless work. Meetings started early and went on until late afternoon. He barely had time for lunch, and the thought of picking up the kids, making dinner, and catching up on chores made him sigh. Yet, as the day went on, something inside him nudged him to leave work a bit earlier. There was no specific reason, just a feeling that today he should be home sooner. He decided to follow it, telling his assistant he would finish things quickly. Driving home, he thought about the twins. He remembered the way they had waved at him over video calls, their little faces smiling and full of excitement. He felt a tug at his heart to be there in person, to see them laughing, playing, and being themselves. When he finally arrived and parked his car, he felt a sense of relief and anticipation. Today he would get to spend time with them, maybe catch some moments he had been missing while buried in work. He opened the front door quietly and stepped inside. The warm smell of home greeted him. There was a faint aroma of cookies baking, and he could hear soft laughter coming from the living room. He smiled, thinking the maid must have been baking, or perhaps helping the twins with a fun activity. The sound of tiny footsteps on the floor, mixed with laughter and chatter, made his chest feel lighter after a long, stressful day. As he walked into the living room, expecting the usual scene of the twins playing with toys or the maid reading a story, he froze. The twins were sitting on the carpet, completely focused on something in the maid's hands. Their eyes were wide, full of amazement, and the maid was crouched beside them, showing them something carefully. He could see the excitement on their faces, a kind of wonder he had rarely witnessed before. Curiosity and surprise filled him. Normally, the twins would be moving around constantly, jumping from one thing to another, but now they were completely absorbed. He quietly stepped closer, careful not to disturb the moment. He didn't want to interrupt whatever they were doing, but he was too curious to stay in the doorway. The maid noticed him, and for a brief moment, she looked startled. He smiled softly, nodding, showing her it was okay, and his gaze returned to the twins. They were pointing and laughing quietly at something in her hands. It was something he had never taught them, something he had not expected to see. He felt a strange mixture of pride, surprise, and admiration. His heart swelled with pride for the twins, seeing their focus and excitement. He was surprised at what they were doing and how engaged they were, and he couldn't help but feel admiration for the maid, who had clearly taken the time to nurture and guide them. She had created an experience that was both fun and educational, and she had done it without making it feel like a lesson. He thought about how busy his life had been, and how often he missed moments like this. While he worked tirelessly to provide for the twins, it was the maid who had been quietly guiding them in ways he hadn't noticed. Her patience, her creativity, and her gentle encouragement were shaping their little minds in ways he hadn't imagined. The twins noticed him finally and looked up. Their eyes sparkled, and they called out to him, their voices full of excitement. He felt warmth fill his chest and smiled, kneeling down to their level. He asked them softly what they were doing. Genuinely curious to see what had captivated their attention so completely, the maid explained that she had been showing them a new activity, designed to encourage their thinking and creativity. She had wanted it to be a surprise, something they would discover with genuine curiosity. Her voice was calm and kind, filled with care and dedication. She wasn't seeking recognitions. She only wanted to see the children happy and growing. He listened carefully, feeling amazed at her dedication. He realized that while he provided for the children materially, she provided something equally important: attention, patience, and guidance. She was shaping their minds and spirits in ways he could not. And she had done it quietly, without asking for anything in return. The twins eagerly demonstrated what they had learned. They explained with excitement, showing how the activity worked, what they had discovered, how much fun they had in the process. Their joy and pride were evident in every gesture, every word. He felt a lump in his throat. It wasn't just a game or a project, it was a moment of learning, creativity, and growth, and he had the privilege of witnessing it. He took a deep breath and absorbed the scene around him. The laughter, the excitement, and the genuine pride of his children filled the room. He felt immense gratitude for the maid, who had given them this experience and had done so out of love and care. These moments, small as they might seem, were shaping his children profoundly. And he had almost missed them because of his busyness. He knelt beside them, gently touching their shoulders, and praised them for their effort and creativity. His words were simple but full of genuine warmth and love. The twins beamed, proud that their father had noticed. The maid watched quietly, satisfaction evident in her soft smile, knowing she had made a meaningful impact. As he looked around, he realized that this was more than an activity. It was about connection, attention, and love. The bond between the maid and the twins was strong, built on trust, patience, and understanding. He promised himself to be more present, to notice these precious moments more often, and to value the people who quietly shaped the lives of his children. For the first time that day, he allowed himself to relax. Work, stress, and responsibilities faded into the background. In the room filled with laughter, learning, and care, he felt peace. The day had taken an unexpected turn, but it had given him something far more meaningful than any achievement at work. He stayed there for a while, simply watching the twins, listening to their questions, and observing how the maid encouraged them. He silently vowed to return home early more often, to take part in these moments, and to show his gratitude not just in words but through his presence. The twins were learning and growing, and he wanted to be part of it, not just a witness. As evening approached, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. Life would continue to be busy and challenging, but moments like this reminded him of what mattered most. The laughter of the children, the care of the maid, and the love they shared were far more important than deadlines or meetings. In that moment, he felt a deep sense of joy, knowing he was surrounded by people who cared deeply, and that together they were creating a life full of love, learning, and unexpected happiness. The father sat quietly, still absorbing the scene before him. The twins' eyes were bright with curiosity, and they pointed eagerly at what the maid was showing them. It was something he had never expected to see. The maid held a small set of objects in her hands, and she was explaining to the twins how each one worked. The children leaned closer, fascinated, asking questions, and laughing when something went right or wrong. Their attention was fully on the maid, completely captivated by her explanation. He felt a wave of amazement. The children were so focused, so engaged in something new, and he had not even realized they were learning this at home. It was a moment that he wished he could have witnessed more often, a moment that felt both surprising and wonderful. He wondered how many small discoveries had passed him by while he was busy with work. How many little moments of learning had gone unnoticed. The maid noticed him looking and gave a gentle, reassuring smile. She had always been careful, patient, and attentive with the twins, understanding their personalities and knowing what they needed. She didn't need praise. Her joy came from seeing the children excited and confident. He felt a surge of gratitude, realizing how much she had been contributing to their growth in ways he could not have imagined. He leaned closer, wanting to see exactly what was in her hands. It looked like a series of small puzzles, each one designed to teach the children something new. The twins were thrilled, experimenting and testing ideas, learning by doing rather than being told what to do. Their laughter and chatter filled the room, and the father could see their minds working, their imaginations opening up in a way that made his heart swell with pride. He remembered the countless times he had tried to teach them something quickly before heading off to work, Often, the lessons would last only a few minutes, interrupted by a phone call or an urgent task. But here, he saw the children completely immersed, enjoying the process and learning without pressure. The maid had created a safe space for them to explore, to make mistakes, and to be curious. The twins noticed their father's curiosity and excitement and called him over. He knelt beside them, trying to understand everything they were showing. The maid guided him softly, explaining the purpose of each object and activity. It was clear she had spent considerable time thinking about how to help the twins learn and grow. Her approach was patient, gentle, and filled with care, and he felt a deep respect for her. He watched as the twins experimented with the puzzles, trying different ways to solve them. Laughing when they succeeded and learning from small mistakes, the father's heart filled with pride and joy. This was a side of his children he rarely got to see, a side that the maid had nurtured with dedication and love. He realized that while he provided for them financially, she had been providing guidance, patience, and emotional support that were just as valuable as he watched. He noticed how the maid encouraged the twins to think for themselves. She never gave them the answers outright. Instead, she asked questions, guided their curiosity, and allowed them to discover solutions on their own. It was a teaching style he had never thought of using, and he was amazed at how effective it was. The twins were learning problem-solving, patience, and creativity, all while having fun. He asked a few questions quietly, wanting to understand the process. The maid explained that she had been planning these small activities for weeks, observing what the twins enjoyed and what challenged them. She wanted to create an experience that was educational but also playful, where the children could feel confident and proud of their discoveries. Her thoughtfulness amazed him. He silently appreciated how much care went into every little detail. The twins, sensing his interest, eagerly showed him how to solve one of the puzzles. He followed their instructions, making mistakes along the way and laughing when he did. The maid encouraged him, gently correcting and guiding him as the twins giggled at his errors. For the first time that day, he felt completely relaxed. The stress of work, deadlines, and responsibilities melted away as he joined in this small but meaningful moment with his children. The twins then decided to teach him something they had just learned. They patiently explained each step, their voices filled with excitement and pride. The father was amazed at how much they had absorbed and how confidently they were able to share it. It was clear that the maid's teaching had worked, and he felt a deep sense of gratitude and admiration for her. He realized that she had been shaping their minds, encouraging their curiosity, and giving them confidence in ways he had never done himself. Time seemed to pass quickly, but it didn't matter. The father was fully present, enjoying each laugh, each question, and each small success. He noticed how the maid never forced the twins, never scolded, and never rushed them. She allowed them to explore at their own pace, creating an environment of trust and encouragement. It was a side of parenting and teaching he hadn't fully appreciated before. As the evening sun began to cast a warm glow through the windows, he realized that this unexpected moment had changed his perspective. He had been so focused on providing and protecting that he often missed the simple joys and small milestones of his children's lives. But now, watching them learn, grow, and enjoy themselves, he understood that these moments were the true treasures of life. The maid, sensing that he had absorbed everything, smiled softly and continued guiding the twins. She was proud of their curiosity and engagement, but she didn't seek recognition for herself. Her joy came from seeing the children happy, confident, and proud of what they accomplished. The father's heart filled with respect and gratitude. He knew he could never fully repay her for the dedication and care she had shown, but he silently vowed to recognize and appreciate her more in the future. The twins, noticing their father's interest and admiration, beamed and invited him to try another puzzle. He followed their instructions, laughing along with them when he made mistakes. The maid quietly observed, guiding them subtly, allowing the children to take the lead. The father felt a sense of humility and wonder. Realizing that he had underestimated the value of her presence and guidance in their lives, he asked a few gentle questions about the purpose of the activity and how it helped the twins. The maid explained patiently, describing how each puzzle encouraged problem-solving, creativity, and teamwork. She had thought carefully about how to engage the twins, ensuring they learned important skills while feeling happy and confident. The father was impressed by her thoughtfulness and dedication as the evening progressed. The father realized that these moments were rare and precious. He had been so busy with work that he often missed small but meaningful milestones in the twins' lives. But now, witnessing their growth and enthusiasm, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. He wanted to be more involved, to notice these moments, and to support the maid in guiding the children. He stayed with them, laughing, learning, and enjoying the excitement of the twins. The maid continued to guide them gently, proud of their curiosity and engagement. The father felt a deep sense of connection, not only with his children, but also with the maid, who had quietly nurtured and shaped them with patience and care. As the room filled with laughter and chatter, he realized that this was the kind of evening he wanted more often. He wanted to be present, to share in the small victories and discoveries, and to recognize the important role the maid played in their lives. Her dedication, patience, and love were shaping the twins in ways he had never imagined, and he felt grateful to witness it. He quietly reflected on the day, realizing that life's true value lay in these small, meaningful moments. The laughter of the twins, the gentle guidance of the maid, and the shared joy of learning were far more important than work, deadlines, or stress. He felt a deep, unshakable sense of gratitude and joy, knowing that he was part of a household filled with care, love, and unexpected happiness. The father stayed close, watching his twins as they worked through the puzzles with the maid guiding them. He noticed how focused they were, how their little brows furrowed when they tried to solve something difficult, and how their faces lit up with joy when they succeeded. Each laugh, each tiny cheer, each proud smile made his heart swell. He had never realized how much learning could be fun when approached with patience and creativity. The maid carefully watched the twins, encouraging them to think for themselves. She asked questions that made them explore different ideas and solutions, letting them discover the answers instead of giving them outright. The father was amazed at how effective this approach was. He had often tried to rush his children through lessons, wanting them to learn quickly so he could move on to other tasks. But here, there was no rush, no pressure, only curiosity, joy, and discovery. He felt a mix of pride and gratitude. Pride for the twins, who were clearly learning and enjoying themselves. Gratitude for the maid, who had quietly dedicated herself to nurturing them, shaping their minds, and encouraging their curiosity. He had always appreciated her help, but seeing the results firsthand made him realize just how much she contributed to their growth. The twins noticed him watching and eagerly invited him to join. He hesitated at first, unsure if he would be able to follow their instructions, but they insisted, holding out the puzzle pieces and showing him what to do. He smiled and knelt down, ready to take part. As he tried to assemble the pieces, he fumbled a little, and the twins laughed joyfully, guiding him gently. The maid smiled softly, watching them all. Pleased with their engagement and teamwork, he asked the maid a few questions, genuinely curious about her approach. She explained patiently that she had planned these activities to challenge the twins' minds while keeping it fun. Each puzzle was chosen to help them develop problem-solving skills, creativity, and patience. She had observed the twins carefully, noticing their interests and strengths, and tailored the activities accordingly. He was impressed by her thoughtfulness and the care she put into every detail. The twins continued to work through the puzzles, explaining their reasoning and experimenting with different ideas. The father realized that this was more than just play, it was real learning. It was happening naturally because of the maid's guidance. The children were not only gaining knowledge but also confidence. They felt proud of their accomplishments, and he felt proud of them too. As he participated, he found himself learning too. He had never considered the value of guiding someone by asking questions rather than giving answers. The maid's method encouraged curiosity and independent thinking, and he was amazed at how engaged the twins were. He realized that teaching could be about creating experiences, not just delivering instructions. And he felt grateful for this unexpected lesson from the maid. The twins' enthusiasm was contagious. They were excited to show him how they had solved a tricky puzzle and explained each step patiently. He listened carefully, asking questions and laughing with them when they made little mistakes. The maid guided them subtly, giving praise and encouragement, ensuring the children felt confident and supported. Her approach was gentle and patient, and it left a lasting impression on him. He watched as the twins moved on to another puzzle, their excitement never fading. They were completely absorbed, yet they frequently looked at him, eager to share their discoveries. The father realized that these moments were rare and precious. In his busy life, he often missed opportunities to connect with his children in meaningful ways. But here, watching them learn and grow, he felt a deep sense of joy and fulfillment. The maid took a moment to explain to him how each activity helped the twins. She spoke with quiet pride, knowing that the children were benefiting from her efforts. She had invested time, thought, and care into these sessions, and it showed in the children's engagement and enthusiasm. The father was struck by how much she had done for them, how much she had nurtured their minds, and how much she had shaped their confidence. He reflected on his own parenting. He had always tried to provide for the twins and ensure they were safe and happy, but he had underestimated the importance of patience, encouragement, and guidance. The maid had shown him a new way of nurturing, a way that combined learning and fun seamlessly. He felt grateful for her presence and realized he needed to be more involved in these kinds of moments, to not just watch but participate and support the twins. Noticing his interest and willingness to join, were thrilled. They guided him through another puzzle, explaining their thought process and encouraging him when he made mistakes. The maid watched quietly, pleased with the children's confidence and engagement. The father felt a sense of humility and wonder, realizing that these small, simple activities had such a profound impact on the twins' development. As the evening continued, he stayed with them, laughing, learning, and enjoying the excitement of the twins. He saw how much they were learning from each other, from the maid, and from the playful, thoughtful environment she had created. He felt connected not only to the twins, but also to the maid, appreciating her dedication and care. He asked a few questions about the purpose of each puzzle, wanting to understand how it helped the twins. The maid explained how each activity developed specific skills, from problem-solving and critical thinking to teamwork and creativity. She had carefully selected each puzzle to suit the twins' abilities and interests, ensuring that learning was both meaningful and enjoyable. The father was amazed at her thoughtfulness and felt a deep respect for her dedication. Time seemed to pass quickly, but it didn't matter. The father was fully present, enjoying every laugh, every question, and every small success. He realized that these moments, small as they might seem, were shaping the twins in ways he had never imagined. He felt gratitude for the maid, who had created a nurturing environment where the children could learn and grow confidently. The twins invited him to join in another activity, and he eagerly agreed. He laughed and made mistakes, and they guided him patiently, celebrating each small success. The maid observed, guiding subtly and encouraging the children's independence. The father felt a sense of joy and humility. Realizing the value of her presence and the impact she had on the twins' lives, he watched as the twins worked together, supporting each other, solving problems, and sharing discoveries. The maid's guidance had encouraged them to think critically, collaborate, and communicate effectively. The father realized that these moments were teaching them far more than he could provide alone. He felt grateful for her patience, care, and dedication. As the evening sun cast a warm glow into the room, he felt a deep sense of peace. He had spent so many days rushing through life, missing the small joys and milestones of his children's lives. But here, witnessing their curiosity, creativity, and growth, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. He wanted to be more present, to participate actively, and to support the maid in nurturing the twins' potential. He stayed with them, fully engaged, enjoying the shared laughter, learning, and joy. The maid continued to guide the twins gently, proud of their curiosity and enthusiasm. The father felt connected to both the children and the maid, realizing that together they were creating a home filled with love, learning, and encouragement. He quietly reflected on the day, understanding that life's true value lay in moments like these: the laughter of the children, the guidance of the maid, and the shared joy of learning were far more important than work, stress, or deadlines. He felt a deep sense of gratitude, knowing that he was surrounded by people who cared deeply, and that together they were creating a life rich with love, learning, and happiness. The father leaned back slightly, watching the twins continue to engage with the puzzles the maid had carefully set up. They were completely absorbed, their little minds buzzing with curiosity, asking questions and testing ideas. It was incredible to see their focus and determination. He had never seen them so immersed in something for so long, and he realized how much thought the maid had put into creating such meaningful activities. He noticed how she encouraged them, asking guiding questions that helped them think critically. She never forced answers, never rushed them, and never made them feel pressured. Instead, she allowed the twins to explore, to make mistakes, and to feel the joy of discovering solutions on their own. He felt a deep admiration for her patience and wisdom. She had created a learning environment that was nurturing, supportive, and engaging, and it was shaping his children in remarkable ways. The twins noticed him, observing and eagerly invited him to join their current activity. He smiled and knelt down beside them, feeling slightly nervous about whether he would be able to follow along. But the children guided him patiently, explaining each step and encouraging him when he made mistakes. The maid watched quietly, subtly guiding and praising them, letting the father be fully part of this special moment as he participated. He felt a sense of joy he hadn't experienced in a long time. The laughter, the excitement, and the small victories of the twins created an atmosphere of warmth and connection. He realized that these moments were more valuable than any work accomplishment or deadline. They were living, breathing lessons in patience, creativity, and love, and he felt lucky to witness them. He asked the maid a few questions about how she had designed these activities. She explained with quiet pride that she had spent weeks observing the twins' interests and learning styles. Each puzzle and activity was carefully chosen to challenge them while keeping it fun. Her goal was to build their confidence, nurture curiosity, and teach problem-solving skills without them even realizing it was a lesson. He felt humbled by her dedication and the thoughtfulness she put into every detail. The twins moved on to another set of puzzles, each more challenging than the last. He watched in amazement as they collaborated, discussing ideas, trying different approaches, and celebrating each small success. Their excitement and pride were contagious, and he found himself completely engaged. The maid's presence was gentle but powerful. She guided them subtly, encouraging independence while providing support when needed. He realized that he had been so focused on work that he had often missed moments like these. He had provided for his children financially, but he hadn't always been present to see them grow and learn. Now, he understood the importance of being involved, of noticing and appreciating the small moments that truly shaped their lives. He silently vowed to be more present, to share in their discoveries, and to support the maid in nurturing their potential. The twins noticed his interest and excitement and wanted to show him their latest accomplishment. They proudly explained how they had solved a particularly tricky puzzle and demonstrated their method step by step. He listened carefully, asking questions and laughing when he made mistakes, and they guided him patiently. The maid observed, her gentle smile reflecting satisfaction and pride in the children's engagement and confidence. He reflected on the learning process he was witnessing. The maid's method was subtle, yet effective. She encouraged the children to think critically, explore, and take risks, all while feeling safe and supported. The twins were learning valuable skills, problem-solving, creativity, patience, and collaboration in a way that was both fun and meaningful. He felt a deep respect for the maid and a renewed sense of responsibility to be involved in his children's lives. As the evening went on, he stayed close, participating in the activities and sharing in the laughter and discoveries. The twins were eager to show him everything, explaining their reasoning and guiding him through the steps. The maid provided gentle guidance, ensuring that the children felt confident and capable. He felt a sense of connection not only to the twins, but also to the maid, who had nurtured and shaped their growth with love and patience. He asked questions about the purpose of each puzzle. Wanting to understand how it helped the twins learn, the maid explained that each activity was designed to teach specific skills: critical thinking, problem-solving, creativity, and cooperation. She had carefully observed the twins' strengths and interests, ensuring that each activity was both challenging and enjoyable. The father was impressed by her dedication and thoughtful approach. Feeling grateful for the impact she had on the children's development, time seemed to pass quickly, but he didn't mind. He was fully present, enjoying each laugh, each question, and each small victory. He realized that these moments were shaping the twins in ways he could not provide alone. He felt deep gratitude for the maid, who had created a nurturing and engaging environment where the children could thrive. Her guidance was shaping their minds, building confidence, and fostering curiosity. The twins invited him to join in another puzzle, and he eagerly agreed. They guided him patiently, laughing when he made mistakes and cheering when he succeeded. The maid observed, offering gentle encouragement, ensuring the children felt proud of their accomplishments. He felt a sense of humility and wonder. Realizing the value of her presence and the impact she had on the twins' lives, he watched as the twins collaborated, solving problems together and sharing discoveries. Their confidence and excitement were evident, and he felt proud of their growth. The maid's guidance had encouraged independence, critical thinking, and teamwork. He realized that these small, simple activities were teaching far more than he could on his own, and he felt grateful for her dedication and care. As the evening sun began to set, he felt a sense of peace. He had spent so many days rushing through life, missing small but meaningful milestones. But here, witnessing the twins' curiosity, creativity, and growth, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. He wanted to be more present, to participate actively, and to support the maid in nurturing the twins' potential. He understood that life's true value lay in these small, meaningful moments. He stayed with the twins, fully engaged, enjoying the shared laughter, learning, and joy. The maid continued to guide them gently, proud of their curiosity and enthusiasm. The father felt connected to both the children and the maid, realizing that together they were creating a home filled with love, learning, and encouragement. As the day came to a close, he quietly reflected on what he had witnessed. The laughter of the twins, the guidance of the maid, the joy of learning together were far more important than work, stress, or deadlines. He felt a deep sense of gratitude and fulfillment, knowing that he was part of a household filled with care, love, and unexpected happiness. He promised himself to cherish these moments, to be present, and to recognize the people who quietly shaped the lives of those he loved. The evening had settled softly, casting warm golden light across the living room where the twins and the maid continued their little projects. The father sat quietly, observing the scene, his heart full of emotion. He could see the concentration on the twins' faces, the gentle encouragement in the maid's eyes, and the pride in every small discovery they made together. It was a moment of connection, a moment of learning, and a moment of unexpected joy that he hadn't anticipated. When he walked in, he noticed the way the maid guided the twins with subtle patience, never rushing, never judging, always allowing them to explore and experiment. She had created an environment where the children felt safe to try, fail, and try again. Each time they solved a puzzle or completed a small task, they would clap and cheer, their faces glowing with accomplishment. He realized that these experiences were shaping their confidence and resilience, lessons far more valuable than anything he could buy or provide. The father leaned forward slightly, joining the twins in their activity. He could feel their excitement as they eagerly explained each step, showing him how they had solved previous puzzles and what they had learned along the way. The maid smiled softly, allowing him to participate fully. Understanding that this was a rare moment of shared discovery between him and the children, he felt a sense of humility and gratitude, recognizing the crucial role she had played in nurturing their growth. He made a few mistakes while trying to solve one of the more challenging puzzles, and the twins laughed gently, guiding him patiently. He laughed with them, feeling a rare lightness in his chest, a relief from the constant pressures of work and responsibility. The maid's presence was calming and grounding, her quiet confidence and encouragement making the experience enjoyable rather than intimidating. He realized how much he had underestimated the value of her guidance. The twins invited him to take the lead on one of the puzzles. Hesitant at first, he carefully followed their instructions, feeling a mixture of nervousness and excitement. As he progressed, he noticed their eyes filled with admiration, proud that their father was willing to join in their world. The maid offered subtle guidance, her hand hovering nearby, ready to help only if needed. It was a delicate balance of independence and support, and he marveled at her skill. As the evening deepened, he could feel a shift within himself. Work and deadlines no longer felt pressing. Instead, he was fully immersed in the joy of the moment. The laughter of the twins, the soft guidance of the maid, and the shared excitement of learning were creating a memory that he would treasure forever. He realized that these small moments of connection were far more significant than any material achievement or professional success. He asked the maid how she had come up with the puzzles and activities. She explained with a quiet smile that she had observed the twins carefully, noting their interests, strengths, and areas where they needed encouragement. She wanted them to experience learning as a natural, enjoyable process rather than a task or obligation. Each activity was chosen to challenge their thinking, promote creativity, and build confidence. He felt a deep sense of respect for her dedication and ingenuity. The twins continued to work, their focus unwavering, but they frequently glanced at him, eager to share their progress. He listened attentively, asking questions, and celebrating each small victory. The maid's guidance was ever-present but unobtrusive, allowing the children to take the lead and develop independence. He could see how this approach was fostering not only learning, but also emotional growth, teaching patience, resilience, and self-assurance. He reflected on his own parenting journey, realizing that he had often been too focused on providing and protecting, neglecting the importance of presence and shared experiences. The maid had shown him a new way to engage, one that combined fun, learning, and meaningful connection. He felt a profound sense of gratitude for her influence in the twins' lives and a renewed commitment to be more present, more patient, and more attentive. The twins proudly demonstrated their most recent accomplishment, explaining step by step how they had solved a particularly tricky puzzle. He listened carefully, offering encouragement and laughter when appropriate, feeling a deep sense of pride and joy. The maid watched quietly, satisfaction evident in her gentle smile. She had fostered an environment where the children could thrive, explore, and feel proud of themselves. And the father recognized the incredible impact she had made. He noticed small details, the way the twins encouraged each other, how they shared ideas and celebrated successes, and how the maid provided subtle guidance. These moments were teaching valuable lessons about cooperation, empathy, and resilience. He realized that these experiences were shaping not only their minds, but also their hearts. He felt a renewed appreciation for the quiet, consistent influence the maid had in their lives. As night approached, the father felt a sense of peace and fulfillment. He had entered the house expecting nothing more than routine, yet he had witnessed moments of pure joy, learning, and connection. The twins were developing skills, confidence, and curiosity, and he had the privilege of being part of it. The maid's dedication, patience, and love were creating a foundation for their growth, and he felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. He stayed with the twins, fully engaged, sharing in their excitement, challenges, and triumphs. They guided him through another set of activities, their enthusiasm never waning. He laughed, learned, and discovered alongside them, realizing that these moments of connection were far more valuable than any work accomplishment or material possession. The maid's presence ensured that each experience was meaningful, nurturing, and memorable. He asked the maid a few more questions about her approach, wanting to understand the philosophy behind her teaching. She explained that her goal was always to cultivate curiosity, creativity, and confidence in the children. She wanted them to feel empowered, to experience joy in discovery, and to develop a love of learning that would last a lifetime. Her dedication and insight amazed him. He silently promised to recognize and appreciate her more openly. The twins, sensing their father's growing involvement, beamed with pride. They shared their achievements, explained their methods, and guided him through new challenges. The maid watched with quiet satisfaction, allowing the children to take the lead while providing gentle support. The father felt a deep sense of connection, not only with his children but also with the maid, recognizing the importance of her role in shaping their growth. As the evening drew to a close, he reflected on the day. He realized that life's true value lay in moments like these: the laughter of the twins, the guidance of the maid, and the shared joy of learning together. Work, stress, and responsibilities faded into the background, replaced by a profound sense of fulfillment and gratitude. He understood that these small, meaningful experiences were what truly shaped a family, creating bonds, memories, and lessons that would last a lifetime. He quietly watched the twins tidy up their puzzles, their faces still glowing with excitement. The maid guided them gently, praising their efforts and encouraging them to reflect on what they had learned. He felt a deep sense of admiration for her patience, insight, and care. She had created an environment where learning was joyful, where curiosity was nurtured, and where children could feel proud of themselves. He knew that her influence would shape the twins for years to come. The father leaned back, taking a moment to absorb everything he had witnessed. He felt a profound sense of gratitude for the maid, for the twins, and for the rare, precious moments they had shared together. He promised himself to be more present, to cherish these experiences, to support the growth and happiness of his children in every way he could. In the quiet of the evening, he realized that this unexpected moment had changed him, teaching him the true value of love, patience, and connection.